A teacher interview is not just about qualifications listed on a resume. It goes much deeper, focusing on the ability to inspire, manage, and educate a group of students who all bring different needs and backgrounds into the classroom. Hiring panels look beyond degrees and certifications. They want to know whether a candidate can foster an engaging environment where curiosity thrives and learning becomes meaningful. Unlike many careers where technical skills dominate, teaching is both an intellectual and emotional profession. It involves guiding young minds, building character, and preparing students for the future while managing the day-to-day challenges of classroom dynamics. To give you an edge in preparation, here are some of the most common teacher interview questions, expanded with thoughtful sample answers and practical tips that reflect both strategy and authenticity. Question 1. What is your teaching philosophy? Answer. My teaching philosophy is built on the principle that learning should be student-centered and interactive. I believe every child has the potential to succeed if given the right tools, encouragement, and environment. For example, I emphasize project-based learning where students tackle real-world problems, such as designing eco-friendly solutions for their community. This not only deepens understanding of academic concepts but also builds collaboration, problem-solving, and communication skills. Tip: keep your philosophy authentic and explain it with a specific classroom example. Interviewers want to see that you are thoughtful and intentional about how you teach. Question 2. How do you handle classroom management? Answer. Classroom management is about building respect and consistency. At the start of the year, I establish clear rules and expectations, co-created with students so they feel ownership. I rely on routines that create predictability, such as structured transitions between activities, which reduce disruptions. When discipline issues arise, I use restorative practices instead of punitive measures. For instance, if a student disrupts, I invite them to reflect on how their behavior affects others, encouraging responsibility rather than simply issuing consequences. Tip: balance authority with empathy. Schools want teachers who can maintain order without creating an overly rigid or fearful environment. Question 3. How do you differentiate instruction for different learners? Answer. Every classroom is diverse, with students having different learning styles, strengths, and challenges. I differentiate by designing lessons that include visual, auditory, and kinesthetic elements. For example, when teaching history, I combine timelines, visual, storytelling, auditory, and role-play simulations, kinesthetic. For students who need extra support, I provide scaffolding such as simplified texts or guided worksheets, while advanced learners may engage in deeper extension projects. This ensures that every student is both supported and challenged. Tip: schools look for adaptability. Show that you can personalize instruction while maintaining fairness and high expectations. Question 4. How do you assess student progress? Answer. Assessment is more than grades, it's about measuring growth. I use a mix of formative assessments like exit tickets, class discussions, and quizzes, along with summative assessments such as projects or exams. I also track progress through portfolios, where students reflect on their learning journey. For example, in English class, students submit drafts and final essays, showing how their skills develop over time. This approach helps me provide targeted feedback and encourages students to take ownership of their progress. Tip: stress that assessment should be ongoing and used to inform instruction, not just to measure performance. Question 5. How do you engage students who seem uninterested? Answer. Engagement starts with understanding students' interests. If a student seems disengaged, I try to connect the lesson to something meaningful for them. For instance, if a student enjoys sports, I'll frame math problems around basketball scores or football statistics. I also vary teaching strategies to keep energy high, such as incorporating debates, group work, or technology-based games. Small efforts to show students you value their passions can turn reluctance into enthusiasm. Tip: show that you notice individual needs and can creatively adjust to keep students motivated. Question 6. How do you use technology in the classroom? Answer: technology is a powerful tool when used purposefully. I integrate interactive apps, online simulations, and digital research projects to enhance traditional lessons. For instance, I once used virtual reality software to take students on a virtual tour of the Great Wall of China while studying world history, which made the lesson come alive. I also encourage students to use collaborative platforms like Google Classroom to share ideas and resources, fostering teamwork beyond the physical classroom. Tip: stress that technology should complement teaching, not replace it. Schools want teachers who can integrate tech thoughtfully and responsibly. Question 7. How do you deal with conflicts between students? Answer: conflict is inevitable in any group, but it can become a teaching opportunity. I address conflicts by listening to both sides, ensuring students feel heard. I then guide them through structured conversations to find a resolution. For example, when two students argued during group work, I had them identify what each needed to feel respected, then agree on ground rules. This not only solved the issue but also gave them skills they can use outside the classroom. Tip: emphasize fairness, calmness, and teaching students constructive problem-solving skills. Question 8. How do you involve parents in the learning process? Answer: parents are crucial partners in education. I keep them engaged by sending regular updates about both academic progress and classroom activities. I share positive feedback, not just concerns, so parents feel encouraged and supported. For example, I once invited parents to attend a class presentation where students showcased projects on local history. This strengthened relationships and showed parents how much their children were learning. I also make myself approachable for questions or discussions. Tip: stress collaboration. Schools want teachers who build bridges between the classroom and home. Question 9. How do you continue to grow as a teacher? Answer: teaching requires lifelong learning. I stay updated by attending workshops, reading professional journals, and collaborating with colleagues. Recently, I completed training in inclusive education, which has helped me adapt lessons for students with special needs. I also seek feedback from both peers and students, which gives me new perspectives on improving my practice. By constantly reflecting and learning, I ensure I bring fresh, effective strategies into the classroom. Tip: mention specific examples of professional development to show genuine commitment to growth. Question 10. Why should we hire you as a teacher? Answer: I bring not only subject expertise but also creativity, empathy, and dedication to student success. I see teaching as more than a profession. It is a chance to make a lasting difference in students' lives. I have proven skills in building engaging lessons, managing classrooms effectively, and forming strong connections with both students and parents. Most importantly, I am passionate about helping students achieve academically and grow as responsible, confident individuals. Tip: end with a strong, confident summary of your strengths, showing both competence and passion. Closing thoughts. Teacher interviews test much more than technical knowledge. They assess your ability to connect, to manage, and to inspire. By preparing thoughtful answers with specific examples, you demonstrate that you are not only capable but also deeply committed to education. Remember, schools are looking for teachers who can handle the challenges of the classroom while still bringing energy, creativity, and compassion. If you approach your interview with preparation, clarity, and authenticity, you will stand out as the kind of teacher who makes a real difference.